One coming.
They should not be there. They can close doors and the people going on the right lane and still sitting on the
10 serving 10. Good.
She tries to get to the left hand.
One coming.
That's why she said. I'm into her right hand.
Fairly cautious, trying to control the ball.
She's volley very well.
Matthew, you must admit, Bellini had the ultimate opportunity.
She didn't need it that good
She
either.
put the ball across court.
That's what we see from the outside.
I think she should have got fly.
Meantime, she's not doing anything but setting up in the air.
You're seeing unbelievable handling here today, folks. The nerves are at the highest pitch.
She had a chance to set one on this side. Try one on this side.
It was a simple ball coming right by her, and she got hit by it.
Come on, no more chances. No more chances.
To the left. To the right.
She Rosemary limping with it.
Rory says settle down. I thought that was bad. Isn't that great? Isn't that a wonderful round? That was beautiful. Carl, here's your hat. It's a truly exciting day for us in West 5th Street. The sun has finally started to shine, and I think it's a spotlight for Dory 10, who is from West 5th Street and one of our own. She had the home court advantage, and she had the crowd in favor of her all the way, which is important. But more important than that was, having been a finalist last year and just falling short by a few points, she decided to double her efforts, train very hard this year, and she came back as the truly wonderful champion that she is. We'd like a few comments from her as to what was going through her mind as the game was seesawing back and forth and the points got very serious. Dory?
Well, I knew, even though it was very close, the score, most people will take a timeout and regroup their ideas and their strategy, but I knew that it was best not to call a timeout because of the fact that she was labored breathing, and I felt by giving a timeout against me, she would actually recoup and possibly do better. And with her breathing heavily, I felt that by not calling out a timeout, it was to my advantage, definitely.
So what you're really saying is that your work in the medical field actually gave you some insight as to human physiology, and therefore you capitalized on that information.
Well, yes, that, and the fact that Rosemary is, I believe, 38 years old, so she is older. And also, yes, like you say, lactic acid does build up in an athlete.
Actually, we're not allowed to mention ages here. I noticed you didn't mention yours, but I know you're on this side of teenage.
Long time ago.
What do you think the actual crucial point in that game was, which sort of gave you perhaps a little bit of hope to continue on? Was it the fact that at the end of the second game you mastered 3 or 4 points to take that, and then you said to yourself,
Unavoidable hinder, because I don't make room for the opponent.
Now,
So I understand her positioning.
you also mentioned that you
trying to tell you. You play this side, that's what you should do. Come on, Evan. You play soft, bro. It's hard. Oh! 19, 7, 10. Top shot. Outside. But you gotta play like both sides. See, when I put you over here, it's because I want a faster game. Yeah, you do. If the person over there playing is gonna shoot everything, you can take your time. I hate when you go for that. Like you. I'm in California. I just got back from LA. I'm in front. Ben's all the way over here in the middle somewhere. You don't went for that crazy shot of
Bill won the money. $20 you gave me. Thank you.
Come down here. I saw you in the week. You go to school?
No. What's going on?
I don't know.
I took it from my girlfriend. She said, it's for honor. And most times it's keep
Eddie Golden Porter.
It was 10. Is it because I studied arithmetic at the Board of Education? Is that how I got that idea?
What? 10 serve at 19.
It's one of those cases. Fucking buddy.
19 serve and 10. Point game.
Hit him.
Block ball.
I haven't seen him play yet. I think Eddie's been playing that much
Game.
Hold the ball.
Yo, what happened?
Who wants it back?
Hey, Louis.
You like him?
You bet against us?
No, I didn't say that against
All right, good luck, guys.
All right, gentlemen, let's go.
Too close. It's hard to do. And
For the purpose of just getting a run, I don't think they're going to go to the...
I don't think either of these kids. I'm just still shooting because.
It's like playing a left.
Okay.
Hard not to get down.
But you're going to keep shifting. Okay, Matthew, what you're seeing here is Robert Sastry. He's the one with the reddish orange shorts. He's going to serve. His partner is Bill. And they're playing Eddie Patrici and Billy Maggio. Now the front team is very steady. They don't make very many mistakes. Billy, whose back is to you right now, he has a very effective left hand. He doesn't want to be a showman. All he wants to do is make sure he doesn't miss and keep the other team off balance. The other team, however, Eddie Patrici and Billy, they're both fiery players. They love to run and jump and swing away. But since they're both basically singles players, it makes it pretty hard for them to coordinate. Eddie Patrici on that left side will be the dominant force. If anything's going to happen in this game, it's going to be Patrici. The key is going to be Billy on this side, not missing. If they find him and he starts to miss, then that team is going to be in trouble. The score is 1-3. It's going to be a 21-point game. And the winner of this game will go into the third slot in the semifinals. We're going to try and play the whole tournament today. Okay. They're going to keep volleying back and forth here, Matthew. This is known as the feeling out part of the game. It's very early now, so nothing dramatic is going to happen. One team may take a 4 or 5 point lead, but it won't be very meaningful because the other team typically fights back. So what we're going to do is take a little break here. The score is 6.
So what? You're supposed to play now. Waiting for now.
The score is 6 playing 12. 6 playing 12. And believe it or not, this is still the feeling out process. But I want you to look at one thing. Eddie Patrici in the red. I want you to look at his back when he turns around. What he did was go in low to scoop up a shot, and he actually picked up all the residue of rain that hit here, and he's got mud on his back. It looks like a brand new Batman outfit. They're still basically all playing very conservatively. As you can see, they're in one straight line, right on the short line. At one point, somebody's going to back up, change the speed of the ball, and then drop it in front of his own partner. That will be the technique. But they're all still basically very conservative. They put up $50 a team. The first prize is $500, so they don't want to make any mistakes. And when you don't make any mistakes, you wind up just pounding the ball back and forth. But this has to break open. They just can't last this long pounding the ball. Somebody on one team is going to have to do that. It's either going to be Eddie Patrici in the red, or it's going to be Robert Sastry in the lighter colored red. Billy on the right side is playing a very conservative game, which he should. He's trying not to make any errors. Billy Maggio in the gray shorts out back, being a singles player, he feels like he's being boxed out of the play. He wants to play singles, and he's playing a subservient role to Eddie Patrici. Now, unless Patrici gets out of the conservative mode himself and starts going for shots as he just did, he's going to find himself on the short end of this game. Billy is serving left-handed. He has a little trouble with his right shoulder, but he's still keeping the ball in play. He's very alert. He's watching every ball, and he's making sure he doesn't err. He can blunder by going for a shot, and that will be a big mistake at this point. He's got to keep the team together. Sastry, unfortunately, is not per se a shot maker. He's basically a guy who keeps the ball in play and doesn't make many errors also. But it's going to come down to the nitty-gritty. They're going to sense that if one team doesn't take a chance, they're going to wind up on the short end. This is the longest point of the game that it's gone, where everybody is more or less still playing conservatively and not trying to figure out a game pattern. They're going to line up again on the short line, side by side, keep pounding the ball back and forth. Something has to give. I would continue to put my money on Billy and on Robert Sastry, because Eddie Patrici, he's used up a lot of energy, and Billy Maggio is boxed in on this right side. We're into a timeout now, and we'll be right back.
That's why you see Eddie and Paul. They sweat, but they bring
see sheer determination in the faces of these players. Eddie Patrici is trying to pump up his opponent, his partner Billy Maggio.
All right, ref.
Patrici's shoulder has grime on it, it's got cuts on it, and the referee just asked him to watch his language.
To watch his language after he said fuck you all over the place? He says to watch his language.
I don't think it's really appropriate to tell him that at this juncture. And I think if you do tell him, you don't make a speech about it. You go over to him and tell him privately. Say, hey, look, take it easy. But you can see sheer determination in everybody's eyes. Billy went for a shot. I don't think he intended it, judging by the way his body was positioned and his hand came forward. I don't think he intended that shot, but it went in for a kill. I don't think he wanted to take a chance on it.
This is the only game where you can say fuck you to a referee and it's close.
Billy shouldn't have taken that shot, actually, but he got away with it on the second. Had he missed it, it just puts more pressure on their team to score. It looks like they're trying to find him. See, the only time I would allow him to go for a shot is if he was 6 points ahead. This is still critical. It's only a 21-point game, so he can't really afford to make a mistake. He got away with one kill shot, but he's got to be extremely careful. And you see Sastry is not going for shots either, and that's detrimental to the team.
He seems very relaxed, Sastry. He doesn't seem to be worried about anything.
He's not setting up a game plan, though. With the score at this juncture, our game plan should have already been established. My brother Oscar would have been warmed up at this time, and he would have fired the ball to the long line, gone in and rolled them out on the return. Sastry is not doing that. He plays a very conservative game. Let's try and see what the score is, as Ali tells us what the score is. He's not saying it. I think he said the score was 14-9, but it might have also been 14-5. I don't know. He's playing some very peculiar rules here today. In the usual big ball game, if the serving side creates a block or the other side creates a block, you usually get two serves. They're playing here today the national hardball rule, whereas if the serving side creates the block, he gets up with one full. That was a beautiful shot. That really should not have happened to have passed them both in the middle, because both of the teams are playing basically in the middle. And for whatever reason, they were just like 3 feet off that center point, and Sastry was able to hit it through the middle. You see, he's not setting up a pattern. He's just content to keep banging the ball. He got away with one through the center, but this is really not productive. That was a good shot by Bill. I'll call one Billy, and I'll call the shorter man in the gray shorts Bill. Billy in the gray shorts in the back, Billy with the ponytail here. This is really strange. 21-point game, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. No firm pattern has as yet been established. This is really peculiar. It's like they don't know what the score is, and they're just hitting the ball in a game. Beautiful shot.
Baby.
Beautiful shot.
Beautiful. Quarter.
You notice, Matthew, nobody is hitting the ball to the long line, pushing the players off balance, and then going in, killing it in front of his own partner. A critical thing has just happened. The back team switched sides, and they were argumentative about it, which didn't help. Patrici is very emotional, so he came in on that shot. He's still talking to himself, and he just swung at the ball and missed it, which he never usually misses. A pattern is now being established, not play-wise, but psychologically.
Come on, Robbie.
Now Billy, with the ponytail, is trying to pump up his opponent. There's been a little bit of distress with the back team, and it's not that any team is doing great stuff physically with the ball. It's just the emotions now. He went for a shot. All of a sudden he went for a shot where he had a shot that he could have hit at Patrici's legs. And even if the ball would have been lowered, Patrici would have been there and probably would have recruited anyway, because that's what he's best at. You see how they're basically gravitating to the center again? This is amazing. And I think Sastry didn't intend that drop shot or lower the ball, but he got away with it. They seem to just be pounding away, and they're content with it.
Isn't this typical playground handball doubles of the B level as we see it so many times?
That's correct. But as you're seeing now, this is for a berth in the semifinals. This is supposed to be a level higher than the typical, but it isn't. Nobody wants to go for the shot. And any championship team should be going for the shot for two reasons. One, you establish your turf. Secondly, you don't use as much energy in winning the game. They're pounding here. You think they're going to be able to continue that same play in the semis, and if they make the finals, do the same thing? It doesn't work that way. Again here, he miscued. He miscued, and he got away with a kill shot, which is really extraordinary.
They seem to be keeping the ball away from Sastry.
It's like four gladiators with whatever weapons they have, just pounding at each other, and if somebody falls, somebody falls. It's like two heavyweights who are both hitters. No defense at all. They just go in there and swing away, and if one guy goes down, that's it. That's what this is a parallel to. Still can't get a fix on the score. He's rinsing it through his mustache, unfortunately. Who missed that one? Sastry? Oh, see, now the score is 11-18. The back team can afford to be somewhat conservative, but the front team, I don't think, even though Billy rolled that, I don't think it's going to be too much avail. He just doesn't have enough shots. You see that? Just doesn't have enough shots. He made one kill shot and looked back in the volley again, which has given Sastry and Billy the 18 points.
You know, it's funny.
Fucking guy.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. If it's a backswing, you have to call it right away. The action was rather rapid there. It was very difficult to make a play. Ali, the referee, is behind them. He can't look through their bodies and see that there's any contact. That's why the rule is, if a man makes a backswing contact, he calls it right away. If he doesn't call it, he doesn't get the benefit of a good shot, and he gets the destruction aspect of a bad shot. That's the reason for the rule. The referee in the back cannot see through bodies. Therefore, the player, and that's the only call the player makes. And keep in mind, I am not going to get involved in this. There's a full moon. Temperatures were pretty high today. Happily, the clouds came out to cool it off a bit. This would have been much more egregious behavior had the sun been baking down on their brains for 2 or 3 hours. See? Hit the floor. You see how it fell back in the same pattern? Billy had one serve to the long line, rolled it out, and it fell precisely back into the same pattern. Now Patrici's going to look for an opportunity. If only one man would back up for a second, let the ball drop, and then pick his shot, he could master these teams. He could master these teams, but they're falling into the same pattern. Pound and pound until somebody misses. It's a very simple proposition. The team in the back, as I mentioned, being both individual singles players, can't get their act together as a doubles team. The team in front, because of Billy with the ponytail's right shoulder hurting, he doesn't want to be aggressive. He knows he can't miss, so he's doing a superb job helping Robert Sastry. Sastry is content now not to go for the shots because with their strategy, they've gotten the lead and they're holding it. But if the back team makes a comeback, and Sastry's going to have to rearrange, you see, he shouldn't have lowered that shot. You pay the price when you lower the ball with these guys. They're standing at the short line to begin with. If you lower the ball, they have enough reflex to re-kill your shot. And the second problem is that the leading team can make is they could just say, all I have to do is keep the ball in play and win. That doesn't happen that way either. There's a certain limit to that because the back team does not want to lose. They're going to give it everything they have. And if the front team were to let up almost momentarily, then the trend could go back the other way. Front team not making any mistakes, they're holding it all together.
You didn't realize it. The turn was slow. I was behind you. I couldn't reach it.
See that shot? It would have been a perfect opportunity for Sastry to back up and lower the ball. But he figures they got the lead, they got the serve. Why do it? There's no reason to do it. Most guys want to show off, they want to play the crowd, and they would go for a shot like that. But he's a very crafty player, Sastry. He won the Budweiser paddles 5 out of 6 years while still a very young man. The reason he won it was because of his exquisite control. He's now bringing that control into this game. Just look at the concentration of his eyes. He's wearing contacts, I understand, which makes it a little more pronounced, but he's got that concentration from way back. Bill is pumping him up a bit, which is very influential at this point. He doesn't want him to let up and assume they have the lead, and all you have to do is waltz across the finish line. Nice try. That was a nice try by Billy, but to no avail. Well, I call that one. We got another semifinals coming on now. And it should be Durso and Fitzpatrick. This is very important. You get in the middle. Okay, look. Okay, you ready? Okay.
I don't usually smile at you.
I'm Ruby Obert, and this is a very proud moment for me. The beautiful people you're seeing in front of you, not necessarily me, have made history for West 5th Street. Since the formation of the national tournaments, only 22 people have gone into the illustrious Hall of Fame. 2 of those people are from West 5th Street, and they're here today. One is me, and the other is this great champion for many, many, many years, Steve Sandler. He holds the record number of 1 world championships in this great sport. He and I represent West 5th Street, and we're in the Hall of Fame. This beautiful person you see between us is my daughter, and she won the prestigious Ford Modeling Agency Supermodel of the World contest in the New York area, 2,000 entries, and you're looking now at number 1. Matthew Paris, our photographer, will now ask Erika a question, and then he will proceed to ask Steve Sandler a question. Since we've been asking many questions in the past, he won't ask me a question.
Is it very hard, Erika, to be beautiful? Isn't it awful to I mean, the incredible burden of